Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Press Box. I'm John Carter, and today we're here with the championship team from Marine City, state champions, 10 and under in Little League. Congratulations with the girls and the managers. We've got manager Brian Dietland, we've got Chris Simon and Adam Blanchard are the coaches, and the girls, we got Jocelyn Dietland, we got Maya Simons, and we got Jade Blanchard. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Brian, let's start with you, and maybe you can talk a little bit about the team and the season and how it went for kind of preparation for the state tournament.
Well, wonderful group of girls, and overall a fun season. Obviously, had a nice run during districts and states, so came out successful and ended up being a successful season. We actually got started. A lot of these girls are part of a travel program that we run as well, and Mr. Simons came to me back in January and proposed that we get the girls involved in Little League, and we could kind of realize the talent that we had on the team, and he had suggested that we try to make a district run. At the time, our sights were set on districts, and whatever happened from there happened, and we were fortunate enough to make a good run and ended up winning states.
So, Adam, what do you think some of the strengths of this team? I mean, obviously, you played softball, but there's something special about this team, do you think?
You know, I think from my lens with this team, it's their mental toughness. It's something that as coaches we've preached to them over and over throughout their travel season in Little League. Really, again, like Coach Chris has said, not riding the highs too high and the lows too low. So when we're in those close games, and we've had close games, we've actually been losing games and come back to win. And we pull the girls in and we say, you know what, we can battle, we can do this. And again, all those preparations of those close games really helped us as we made our tournament run.
Yeah. So, Chris, talk a little bit about the districts. I know that's the local tournament. Who were the tough teams you had to play?
Well, we had to come across Algonac, who's always been strong, and then definitely St. Clair. So we were lucky enough to get past Algonac. We then played St. Clair, which we beat them, and we had to play St. Clair one more time.
The double elimination.
The double elimination part of it. For us, this was huge. This is the first time Marine City Little League in 20 years has won a district. So that was pretty special for us to get that done. And they were tight games. Our final score with St. Clair was 1-0 in the championship game. So good competition. Luckily enough, we got the job done, and we were able to move on. But it was a big step for us as a program and as a league.
So, Brian, that's a good segue down. Now, got through the districts, won your games. Now the state. It was in Tecumseh, is that correct?
Van Buren.
Van Buren,
Van
okay.
Buren, yep.
Okay.
Yep, just south of Ypsilanti, Canton area.
So tell me a little bit about the preparation that you guys did to get the team ready for that next level of competition.
Well, obviously that started a long time ago. It started January, like I said. We had our sights set high, so we were preparing them for the top level nearly 6-7 months ago. But as we advanced past districts, we started to dial it up a notch, literally and figuratively. We dialed up a pitching machine, expecting to see some talented pitchers, and just increase the ground balls and increase our talks about the journey that we're going to have, and not only going there to win games, but going there to experience the other teams, just to get to know them, where they come from, and more than softball, but just learning to be a group of young girls and have a good time, learning to travel together and succeed.
Well, I know some of the neatest things about going to a state tournament and having this kind of run are kind of the interactions you have beyond really just the base or the softball field in this case. So tell me, maybe Adam, what did Van Buren do for the tournament? Did they have special events?
Well, the first night we had the Parade of Champions, so that's always a special time. All the districts are represented. We go out on the field and you display your district banner. They also had a little pizza event and pop event there, and the girls were able to interact with the other teams, trade some pins. The district and the Little League purchased separate pins so we could go around and trade pins and display those and collect those. And just, again, really it's an icebreaker so that they could get a chance to talk to some girls from a different town, a different city. So again, we're going to compete against them, but it's a great way to make friendships and a little bit of a memory too.
So, Chris, how do you kind of structure your offense for this team, and maybe all you guys? I mean, I mentioned I talked to Kevin Mon, who's a softball coach at St. Clair, and he's talked about kind of the evolution of girls softball going from traditional small ball, bunting, slap hitting, and so on, to now a more really an emphasis on power. Is that happening at the lower levels as well?
Yeah, I think so. You know, the thing for us was, you know, we knew we were going to be seeing some good teams. So we wanted to prepare for, you know, good pitching and good hitting. So one of our key responsibilities was putting a good defense on the field. And we had some outstanding pitching, and we had some outstanding girls behind her to help with our defense. So I'd say that's one of our biggest attributes is our quality of defense. And we managed to pick up a few hits in between to score a few runs. So our defense is what really held us in the state tournament. We only gave up 3 runs in 9 games.
That's amazing.
So, and you know, we found a lot of outs at the plate, but we found some outs in the field too. So it was great for the girls.
So Brian, who oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's interesting that you say that because you see that from a college level. We together watch a lot of college softball, and you can see how it's gone from a small ball style to more of aggressive big inning games. And it's funny because our championship game, Jocelyn had a bloop single over the third base, so we're down 1 and we have no outs. Jade was up, and I'm in the back of my head with a lot of experience and coaches, and I know there's a lot of family members behind me that are also experienced in softball, and I'm going to myself, should I bunt? What do you do here? I got to let a number 3, a pretty good hitter that's been hitting the ball well through districts and states, and we end up letting her hit, and it ended up Maya come through with a double with the bases loaded to score 2 for the winning run. So just it was funny you mentioned that. It is a change of styles, change of culture from that bunting the runner over, trying to steal a base and hoping for that 1 single rather than waiting and trying to get them 2 runs.
It's also interesting that it's a lot easier coaching from the bleachers than it is from the dugout.
Sure.
Because the consequences aren't exactly the same, and those kind of decisions are difficult, and that's why you get paid the big bucks, right?
Right. You can see that from top to bottom.
So I guess one of the things that I was going to ask is, what was the toughest team you saw there? What was the team that really gave you the run for the money?
From my lens, certainly Granville, having to play them twice. We had to face them in player pool, coming back from behind in the 6th inning to win on a walk-off little blooper that Jade hit, and Jazz ended up scoring. Actually, Jazz hit a big double that tied the game up, and Jade was able to get a little single there. That's big to beat a team 2-1 in the final inning, and then to play them in the championship game again in a close game. To me, that they presented the most difficulty. But like these guys have said, our defense was spectacular. I think of Olivia Volkman in that championship game. She made 2 or 3 plays. One in particular was a pop fly where she was floating from the second base position and floated all the way behind first base. And I thought for sure that ball was going to fall. We had our center fielder, Paige Nelson, ended up dropping the play, but I wish we'd have seen a videotape of that because she came from right center. We had a shift on, made it all the way back over to left center, diving catch was in her glove, and when she bounced on the ground, it ended up jarring out, but a fantastic play. That just speaks to the level of our defense that we had behind an outstanding pitcher in Jocelyn.
I also think we have to mention Gladstone, who we ended up beating 1-0 in the semifinals. Very talented team, extremely strong pitching, well-coached team. Pretty much a pitcher's duel up until the 4th inning. I think Emma Terhune ended up taking a pitch off of the stomach, and that was pretty much our only base runner up until then. She had a steal, and then I believe
It was Jade.
Was it Jade? Jade with a single for the only run. But as far as tough teams, I mean, Adam was right on track. Granville, Gladstone. We faced West Branch. Close 3-0 game in the beginning part of the tournament. So overall, some very tough teams, top to bottom, throughout the tournament.
Well, that's really amazing, and again, a tremendous achievement, and I'm sure it also has a lot to do with just how well you prepared the girls for it. So let's talk a little bit, girls, here, and maybe we'll just start with maybe Jocelyn. Tell me how you got started in softball. How long have you been playing? Really?
Or 5.
Wow.
Since T-ball.
Yep. And what did you like about it that got you keep on coming back?
Well, my mom played softball and my dad played baseball, I think. And then I just wanted to play and seems like a fun experience and sport to play.
So Jade, it sounds like you got some big hits. What do you think about when you go to the plate?
I think that I should always not be nervous and turn it into excitement, and just think about hitting the ball.
And you play third base, correct?
Yes.
Why do you like that position?
I like third base is because I like throwing long throws to
Okay.
first, and I also like charging on bunts.
So, and for people who don't know much about softball, particularly girls softball, third basemen have to play pretty close. Do you ever get worried they're going to take a full swing at you?
Sometimes I do, like when I think they're gonna bunt, so I'm cheating up, and then one time they swing, but I always think when Jocelyn's pitching, they're normally gonna bunt.
Okay. They're not going to pull her very often?
No.
So Maya, you're the catcher.
Yeah.
So I was asking you before, what's the hardest thing when Jocelyn's pitching?
Well, say the inning before when we're batting, if she's stealing to second or third and the person that's playing second or short, they tag her out, and then she goes back in the dugout, gets all of her things for pitching, and then once all the batters are up, she pitches all of her anger out into the balls.
So do you think they're a little faster?
Yeah.
A lot faster?
Yeah.
So what position do you bat in the order?
Well, for the first few games, I started batting fourth, and then the next few games, I moved down fifth and sixth. But then for the last game, I hit like kind of a super single through the second baseman, and I scored 2 runs. So.
We really had a tough decision as coaches, and we were actually in the middle of the state tournament, and we were looking at the stats, and Maya had been struggling a little bit at the bat, and we had some girls that were behind her, and us as the coaching staff got together and made a decision to actually move her down in the lineup, which is a big deal for hitters and for players. The other thing is we have 4 people that we had to get into the game as well, and they would obviously be going in for Maya, so she's going to get less at bats. So for her to stay focused and to stay aggressive at the plate and to keep that mental toughness and come through with that like she said, that super single, that giant hit to score those 2 runs, it was impressive for a young lady to do.
So Jocelyn, you're the pitcher, correct?
Yes.
So what's your favorite pitch? Do you have a couple different ones?
I just have 2. I just have the fastball and the changeup, which I like throwing the fastball more often because I throw it more often. But if there's normally 2 strikes on a batter and they've been following it up, my dad gives Maya the sign to give me a changeup, and sometimes it's a ball, but sometimes it strikes out the batter. So that's a good pitch to throw too.
The strikeout pitch is your favorite pitch, right?
John, one of my favorite memories is in the championship game with Jocelyn pitching to the leadoff batter, and she throws the first pitch to strike right over the plate. Perfect. Coach calls a high fastball. She throws a high fastball. Perfect. Next pitch calls in an outside fastball, hit her spot, outside fastball, girl swings, out. Lead batter, set really the tone for the game, and was pretty impressive. That was one of my favorite spots.
So control is obviously very important as well,
Very good
right?
control.
Well, I guess that I kind of forgot about the high, low, and inside and outside pitches. Just because we don't call them that often unless they're swinging at the outside or high pitches that I throw.
Right.
So I just kind of forgot.
You had mentioned control, and I the stat on her strikeouts versus walks, I think, is a very impressive stat.
Very impressive. Jocelyn got 42 innings in over the 9 games of districts. Faced 136 batters, struck out 106, and walked 1.
Wow, that's just amazing.
Yeah, we're pretty impressed.
That's Greg Maddox-esque.
Yeah.
To use a baseball. Maybe we should say Lisa Fernandez or.
And she
Jenny
says
Finch.
she says we don't use the inside outside as much, but as the competition got better and the level, the skill for the batters increased, then that's when we had to really move inside outside, and that just goes to show. I mean, Maya working inside, outside, Maya being able to take the signals from the dugout, and then her to be able to perform that. And the balls that were put in play, you got to give the infield, outfield credit, because they can sometimes stand there for innings at a time and not do nothing but back somebody up on the throw. So like Coach said, I think Olivia Volkman had 4 putouts in the final game. Alyssa Chartier also had quite a few putouts, including the final out with a runner on third. Sharp single to first, gathered it, made the out to seal the victory.
It's got to be a team game, right? Definitely has to be.
Yeah, team game, community game. It was very interesting very exciting to see the fans and the community and the family react to it, and it was like it was a big relief to be there and to have it come through.
So Maya, who gets more nervous when you're playing, your mom or your dad?
They're kind of both get nervous, but I think my mom gets more nervous than my dad.
Because your dad's coaching, your mom just can't do much? Is that what you're
Yeah,
thinking?
my mom just gets really worried and like walks away from the field kind of and like turns her back.
So do you have any special superstitions or good luck charms you have to use, Jade?
Yes, I do. My Aunt Charlotte actually brought me a present before states and gave me some good luck undies, which were spandex.
Maybe TMI, but go ahead.
that
You're
I wore,
actually a spandex.
that I wore every single game.
Every game.
Yes.
How about you, Jocelyn? Do you have a special superstition that you like to have to do every game?
The only person that is really my lucky charm is my dad.
Okay, well, that's
really.
that's terrific. So, who's the funniest on the team?
Maya.
How come?
Oh, she always, like, when someone's down, she always picks them up, and she's always trying to see what's wrong and what she, like, if she ever did something wrong, which she barely ever does, she always see and try to improve.
And whenever we're like far away from home and playing games and we're in hotels and restaurants, she's always the funny one and breaks the rules. She's just funny.
So I was going to ask you also, besides the actual games and winning the tournament, what was the most fun thing about the being at States? Go ahead.
I think I liked bonding with my team and also winning.
Yeah. How are you, Maya?
Well, I liked when the whole team would gather up in like a hotel room. We would like play like a game, like hide and seek or something, and then we would all like go out to eat or swim. And
So Jocelyn, did you get to exchange the pins with the other teams?
Yes,
What was
we
that
did.
like?
It was really cool to like meet the other people and where they were from and see what kind of different pins they had.
Which ones did you get? Which one's your favorite?
I don't know what team it was from. It was like a teal and pink, but really my favorite was our pin. But the other pins, they were really cool though.
That UP team one was pretty
Yeah, and they end up making a sash from
Yeah.
it, so they have it all together. It was pretty neat. We end up wearing it on the parade we had. The girls look good. It was a good experience, like Jocelyn said, just to meet the other girls and see them interact. At this age, sometimes they can be shy and
Oh, sure.
and hard to communicate, but it took a minute. But that Friday after our pizza party, these girls were really the ambassadors of the whole tournament. They started running around to each team and making sure they got their pins out. So I think it kind of broke the ice for everybody, and everybody did a good job.
Well, you mentioned the parade. I wanted to ask you really about kind of the reaction from Marine City. We got the trophy in front of you, but I understand there was just a lot of things going on with Marine City and just welcoming back the team.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, and I got to give these two guys credit. They, I mean, overall, as far as the team goes, this year these guys came on and really have boosted, our logistics and what we do on and off the field. And both these guys are well known in the community, very intelligent guys. They had a lot of things set up that I was even unaware of after we had won. We had come back to a full police escort with the fire trucks.
He didn't want us to tell him because it's bad luck. So we were a little skeptical and a little nervous of setting some of the stuff up because we didn't want to look ahead, but we did know that some of it did require a little bit of planning.
Sure.
But
No, I don't like to plan past one pitch at a time. So and these guys done a good job under the scenes, making sure that these girls had a great experience on and off the field, pre-game and post-game.
So talk a little bit about the parade. I understand you were Grand Marshals at the.
Yes, we were Grand Marshals in Sunday's Maritime Day Festival, which was a great experience. The mayor set up, Dave Vandenbosch was a huge help, along with a lot of the board members, and the police chief, Jim Heslop, helped out a ton. But we were the grand marshals, so that got us the first spot in the parade. So it was pretty special. And the girls looked good. We were on a float that was provided by Van and Bosch Farms. And I think we had a good time throwing some candy and playing some music and kind of celebrating as a team.
And I understand you're going to a Tigers game coming up here, Adam?
Yes, we're going to a Tigers game, and it's just amazing how things just kind of unfold. We get some tickets, we get a couple extra tickets. Next thing you know, we're going to take 2 charter buses down, try to make it a community and family event. And the latest news is that I believe we're actually going to get down there for batting practice and be able to get baseballs and some things signed. So again, just and that was thanks to Steve Terhune, one of our parents, Emma's dad, and it just. Just again, it's that community rallying behind the girls and saying we want to make this special for them.
And Brian, one of the really neat things about living in a small town is just this kind of reaction to their success.
Sure. Oh, it was, like I said, it was exciting watching the parents and grandparents, friends and family react. And we have a few parents that played on the last district winning team, and they were just as excited now as I'm sure they were then. It was fun to see how many people we had out at the parade and come out to celebrate. I had quite a few former coaches of mine and former players that I played with just come and wish me luck pre-state tournament, and they were excited. They realized how special of a run this is. It's not easy, even if you have a very talented team like we do. It's not easy to run 9 games in a row like that. So it was special, and it's going to be special for a long time.
I agree, and it is very difficult, and luck of the draw. You can play sometimes the toughest teams in the pool, and you don't even get out of it because you've got 2 tough teams. But we do want to mention the other girls, and maybe you guys can, Chris, talk about a couple of the other girls that aren't here, and we haven't had a chance to mention yet. I think maybe Carly.
Yeah, well, let me talk about Harmony Gray. Harmony Gray was one of our youngest players on the team. She was only a 9-year-old, and she hadn't played a lot of organized softball in the past. So we worked with her through the regular season,
Right.
And she made the district team, which was great for her. She came up with 2 big walks for us that allowed her to get on and get us a runner on base. It was absolutely huge in our state run. She did an outstanding job there. We have Meryl Hosky here. First couple games, Meryl was able to get out in the field and get a couple good plate appearances in the first 2 games, one against Van Buren Township and one against Central Taylor. So it was good to see her. First time she's really been on an organized team, and it was her progression over the 2 weeks that we practiced prior to going to the States. She made leaps in her ability. So it was really nice to see her mature as a player.
Well, you got to talk about Carly Matthews as well. Hits 4 or 5 in our lineup for most of the season, and really just came through in some big opportunities. She actually, I still feel bad for her. Had an excellent bunt in the final game. Unbelievable player, very lot of speed. So she lays the bunt down, good bunt. She's going to be safe. Accidentally drops a bat, lands right on the ball, so she was called out, and you could tell that she was upset about it, but she come through with quite a few good hits this season. Solid right field player for us with a lot of speed.
I think Lily Golm, one of our smaller players in stature. Next to Maya, she's the one who's getting the dugout going in cheers. I mean, I look over and I hear her, and she's getting them going. But when Harmony Gray ended up getting walked on base, Lily Golm, we had to quickly say, Lily, get your helmet, get out on the field. And, to be sitting for a little bit, to jump back up into a situation in which you're down by a run in the last inning, she did a heck of a job getting herself kind of into a pickle and making it to second. So I give her a lot of credit, as well. And, of course, we mentioned Olivia Volkman. I said that, we said that Jade hit the one winning run. It was actually Liv in that against the UP team. Actually came through on a big hit that got Emma Terhune around the bases.
Which, to speak for Liv, Olivia has been playing on my team for the past 3 years and has always been a right-handed hitter. And in the beginning of the season, unusually struggled. And her parents and us as coaches talked about moving over to the left side and having her slap hit. And she really had success. Right out of the gate had success. I mean, 400 or 500 clips she was batting, every other one she was on. And we had talked about before the few previous games, she had started to struggle, and we had started to work in some bunts and do that kind of thing. And we had actually thought about maybe dropping her down in the lineup and moving somebody like a Carly Matthews up there that was hot. And we decided, you know what, she's a strong-willed young lady. We're going to keep her up there. And really came through in the last 2 games with obviously the game-winning hit against Gladstone and a hit, two hits, I believe, against Granville. So, and then you have someone like Kayla DeRosier who, has been a Little League player, for most of her life, and gets a chance to play with some of these girls that have been playing travel ball, and really didn't get a whole lot of opportunity. But when she did, she was very impressive, almost a 350 batting average. So to come up in there against some tough pitchers, you got to give her a lot of credit. And it's worth mentioning that her little sister Juliet was our reserve player. Juliet's an 8-year-old and actually a 2nd grader. When we did the tryout between 2 teams, we had 14 girls try out. So we kept the 13, and we asked her to be on for an alternate in case somebody got hurt or sick. But going to be a good little player, just underage, but heart of gold. She was out there helping us clean up the nets and clean up the dugouts every time, and it was really exciting.
Well, it truly is. It's a team effort. I'm sure from the Little League organization in Marine City and in the district, and obviously the parents as well. I mean, I know the parents are a huge impact on the team and its success.
Oh, well, certainly. And lastly, John, too, Gracie St. Cura. She really, one of our last players, she did anything that we asked her to do. It was just nice. She stayed focused, hadn't played on a lot of organized teams like some of these other girls, but got with this team and did whatever we needed her to do.
Really shined.
Yep,
shined.
really
I
shined.
mean,
Yep.
she came out. Another girl with just a great swing, a decent little outfielder, and is going to do good things. Really, really nice young lady.
Yep.
Well, again, I want to thank you for coming in. Congratulations, girls and coaches. That's a
Thank you.
tremendous, tremendous achievement. And as I think one of the coaches said, you're going to be looking back on this many, many years from now and thinking about how great it is. And the other thing is, certainly wish you the best luck in your upcoming years. There's a lot more years of softball, and you've got a lot of chance to do
John,
really
can we
good
just
things.
thank our Little League for one,
Absolutely.
and then all of our sponsors and just the businesses in town that really got behind us. So I just want to extend that out. A thank you to all of them. It's made this really special for the girls in our community. So thanks for our sponsors and the businesses in our Little League.
Thanks to you as well.
Well,
Appreciate
and
this.
we're really pleased to have you again. Congratulations. That's going to be it for today. This is John Carter with Press Box. We'll see you again next week. Goodbye, everybody.